Welcome to Paranormal Almanac with your host, Kurt Sandvik. That's right, I'm your host, Kurt Sandvik, and on this week's edition of Paranormal Almanac, we're going back to the 80s again, or continuing being back in the 19... Look, we're going to be talking about 1980s paranormal stuff, but before we get to the shout-outs, since this is a 1980s episode, I figured I should do a very special episode introduction. Hi, I'm Kurt Sandvik. Sure, you might know me as the guy that messes up names of towns on Paranormal Almanac. But tonight, on this very special episode of Paranormal Almanac, I'm here to talk to you about drugs. Your friends might want you to try drugs. But if you do, just know you should try their drugs. Use up all of their drugs first. You'll still get high and you don't have to buy your own drugs. Because drugs are expensive. So remember, kids, just do your friends' drugs and save your money. Alrighty, let's get right on into this episode with some shout-outs. Shout-outs going out to Flory, the naughty innuendo. I gotta figure out, there's gotta be a They Might Be Giants song with innuendo in it. I know there is. They would definitely use innuendo in a song, and I gotta sing that song. But now I gotta find out what that song would be. Let's see. No, that doesn't help me at all. No, I can't find it. Look, I guarantee you they have used the word innuendo in one of their lyrics, and I'm going to find it, and I'm going to use it. Shout out to Jen, Danny, Dark Cipher from Australia. Hey, Australian, I just met five, Eric, Broden, Kelly, him, her. 5 Australians this week. I'll be talking about that in just a minute. Ooh, how's that for a tease? Sarah Jane Oxley, hey, howdy, hi. Angie, Lisa Cervantes, Curious Hedgehog. Oh, are you telling me there's no Sonic the Hedgehog soundboard or thing on the soundboard? No, there's really not. There should be. I would have done that, when he gets hit and all the rings. I would have done that right there if I had one, but I don't. But I could, but I won't. Diana, Mr. J, George Berg, Casey the Pitbull, Deb B, Corey, GC, Tracy, hey, howdy, hi. Newt MacGyver on it. That's an easy Them Up Giants one. B. Melty, Avro, Loch Ness, not a monster. That, my friends, is a song by the wonderful band Paranormal Almanac. Fun fact, I'll pause the shout-outs for a quick fun fact about these songs by Paranormal Almanac. All songs by Paranormal Almanac have now gotten over 10,000 plays on Spotify. I wish it wasn't on Spotify, but it is. But sure, someone's listening to it. I can't imagine who, and I apologize profusely to them. Shout-outs to Stacy, Leviathan, Stiggy, and Johnny the Pommy. Hey, howdy, hi. JT, Doogie Whore, Mike G, Tracy B, Richard, Alec, Karen. Hey, Johnny the Pommy. I hung out with 5 New Zealanders, a week ago, 2 weeks ago? Yeah, Brett McKenzie and his band. I got to chat with them all. They were incredibly cool. Brett McKenzie, one of my favorite artists from, I don't know if anybody else knows him. I'm sure Johnny knows. From Flight of the Conchords, from The Muppets movie. Am I a Man or Am I a Muppet? Yeah, that guy. Duran, Lori, Rebecca, Alec, Ann, Stephen Scher, hey, hi, Jane Ed, Jennifer, Heather G, your friendly neighborhood skinwalker, Zuzus, what's it? Nico, Sharon, the Mouse, hey, howdy, hi, Andrew, Mark and Tina, Tortuga, Alabama White Thing, Andy, Virginia Mailman, Tony, the Magician. Now, see, again, there should be like a poof sound effect, and I just don't have one. Not doing well on learning card tricks. I don't have the dexterity for card tricks. I know it's going to take time and practice, but still, I want it now. Vicky, Crow, Isabel, Jen, Amber, Tracy B, Sandy, Paige, Couch, Scott, Andrea, Melody, Vanessa. If I was the devil. Elizabeth, Sherry, hey, howdy, hi. Art Muffin, Tim, East Clintwood. Oh, pause. Tim posted a photo on his Facebook from the 80s in a Halloween costume that made me crack up laughing. I loved it. East Clintwood, Kenneth, Alexandra, hey, howdy, hi. Zozo the Demon. Hayden, Cindy, Ashley, Robin, Lauren, Russell, Isabel, Audra, Dorian, Cindy, Jerry, Jeff T, Lawrence, the Lauren Strawn, hey, howdy, hi, Veronica, Autumn, Carolyn, Nanashi, Todd, Jamie, and Elijah Hendrickson, Dan, Laura Pitts, and the one, the only, the incredible Gamer Fan. That's right, the awesome Gamer Fan. Shout-outs to Joe Teague and to my boy Stitch. All righty, should I get right into paranormal news? I guess we could do that. Why not? Yeah, hold on. Let's get right into paranormal news.
Ghost and demons that haunt the night. Strange objects fly through the sky. Shadow people are spending the night again. Black-eyed children knock on my door. A portal to hell opens in my room. Time travel man says the world is changing soon.
Don't fucking shoot Bigfoot.
God, I love this tune. Good job, Buzz. Because it's a 1980s episode, I went to buy a lotto ticket, a bunch of them for the Mega Millions. I didn't win, but that's okay. I'll win the next one. And they had Mr. Pibb in a bottle at the liquor store. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm doing an 80s episode. I can chug some Mr. Pibb while I do an 80s episode. I gotta say, I thought that Mr. Pibb was just Dr. Pepper without his doctorate. You know, like it's the same thing as Dr. Pepper, but called Mr. Pibb. No, I mean, I guess it's not, because it tastes more cherry cola than Dr. Pepper, if that makes any sense. But still, quite the flashback. I couldn't tell you the last time I had Mr. Pibb, and boy, howdy, do I love it. All righty, the first story in paranormal news. Denver mansion with owners say a ghost that hates housework seeks $3 million. That's right, a historic 9,700 square foot Colorado home serves as an inn, but could be a single-family home. The phantom footsteps to a spectral hostess who disdains cleaning, an inn and mansion in Denver, listed for $3 million, is alive with more than just its guests and residents. Elaine Britton and Joel Bryant, both 62, purchased the 9,700 square foot Queen Anne Victorian mansion known as the 5-guest room Lumber Baron Inn, at 2555 West 37th Avenue back in 2016. I found out right off the bat that this was the sweetest haunting, if you will, Britton said. It's nestled in Denver's historic Potter Highlands neighborhood. The house was built in 1890 by Scottish immigrant and lumber merchant John Mouat for his wife. Look, M-O-U-A-T. That's Mouat as far as I'm concerned. And his wife Amelia and their children. The main floor features 3 parlors, a foyer, and an office, all adorned with meticulously preserved original woodwork. The parlor serves as the social heart of the inn. The top floor houses a grand ballroom, once considered one of the largest privately owned ones in Denver, according to Bryant. It is gorgeous, I gotta say. Absolutely gorgeous. At first, Britton was reluctant to purchase the house. I took one look at the house and I said, no way, absolutely not. She said it would be too much to take care of. But they did. She is a self-described diviner and card reader who has always felt deeply connected to her spirituality, said that during the tour of the home, a mysterious force guided her to an unexpected sign. She was led to a back bookcase. Right at my eye level was a book my dad wrote, Edward C. Halbeck Jr., which was a highly unusual book. My father was the leading authority in the United States on wills of estates and trusts. So this is a book that you could have found in a judge's chamber or in a lawyer's office, but it was here. If I had heard the voice of God say, Elaine, buy this house, I would have been like, hang on a second, I've got to talk to my dad. But I took this as my sign. That's pretty freaking cool. And why are they selling it? Hold on, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. According to Britain, the house is home to several other spirits, including a young girl named Sarah Michelle, a soldier-like presence she calls Ben, another known simply as the butler. One day I was cleaning the inn and was vacuuming, and I got a strong presence that Miss Amelia was very disapproving of me doing housework. That's cool. I was very skeptical when we bought the place of spirits, and that went away pretty quickly. They're really protective of us, our guests, and the house. Okay, so why are you selling it? Boy, this is a long article, but... Oh, here we go. After nearly a decade, they are ready to sell the property and move on to the next phase of their life. It's a good job. It's a busy job. I really want to explore my art. The property was listed in April, but the price has dropped by $205,000. Things really kind of slowed down for us as the tours and the interest. It's kind of uncertain times right now. It's not an easy place, but the right combination of people and or a group that could split up the duties will find it a wonderful fix. Yeah, it's a gorgeous looking house. It's located at 2555 West 37th Avenue, Denver, Colorado. Yeah, if you got $3 million sitting around, buy it. I mean, it seems cool as hell. Alrighty, up next in paranormal news. Oh, nope, I'm skipping. I'm going to keep that one for just a minute. There's going to be more than just paranormal news in a second. So that one I'm going to keep for post-paranormal news. Coming up next in paranormal news, did Shaquille O'Neal see a UFO in Madeira? Kurt here. With that as a headline, I'm going to say yes, because if you just went to the article and they went, no, that'd be a really terrible article. The former Laker, who entertained guests as his alter ego DJ Diesel, I'm sorry, what now? Has a history in the Central Valley. During an appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel Show, he revealed that while on a double date with a friend in 1997, he saw a flying saucer. Okay, why is this a new story now then? You know what? I don't understand why this is a brand new news story talking about something that Shaquille O'Neal saw in 1997 and talked about on Jimmy Kimmel in 2021, so we're going to move ahead. Up next in paranormal news, top fighter pilot breaks 45-year silence to reveal bombshell UFO encounter with 50-foot triangular craft at nuclear base. Wow. Apparently, it will no longer let me get into that article, so there you go. That's about it. Fighter pilot, 45 years, saw a 50-foot triangular craft. Love to hear about it. Can't. Research team seemingly records 3 UFOs in New York, claims FBI are very concerned after conversation with them. Nightcrawler Research, a data-focused UFO investigation team, reportedly captured footage of 3 UFOs in New York. In each case, the citizen journalist said the object disrupted camera performance during recording. They further disclosed that their efforts have drawn attention from the FBI and other federal agencies. All right, that's actually really cool. This was an object that presented over the water. Initially, what we saw was something that roughly about 600 feet from the surface off the Atlantic Ocean. We saw an object that was not very luminous, very, very low light, not really in the IR. Something visible light was present, and we noticed that the light presented in the same basic area, in the same area of the sky. That's a terrible description. Within a short period of time, the object disappeared, and we saw what would look like a sphere on the water, an extremely bright, luminous sphere. They did say that the team was questioned, and they are talking with the FBI. They said, absolutely, it's an ongoing thing with them. They're certainly very concerned about it. You know, our communication, it's been ongoing. Okay. I mean, you seemed really mellow for being questioned by the FBI right after seeing UFOs, but you know what? Cool, man. Good for you. Up next in paranormal news, Ireland's most haunted house to undergo ambitious transformation after a £3 million sale. Is it pound? I'm assuming it's pound. After spending just months on the market, Ireland's most haunted house, Loftus Hall, has changed hands once more. The Wexford property, which overlooks Hook Peninsula, will undergo an ambitious transformation after being acquired by Meath investor Patrick McDermott. It's a 22-bedroom house. It's situated on 63 acres of land. It was snapped up on the market in 2022 by Patty McKillen Jr. For $1.75 million. After pumping millions of euros into the project, restoring and converting the property into a boutique hotel, Mr. McKillen instructed Agent Collier to find a buyer for the house and its estates in April of 2025. That's some good Mr. Pibb. Per the Irish Times, Mr. McDermott plans to rebrand Loftus Hall as Loftus Estates and transform its 4-acre walled garden and land into a working farm with livestock, low-impact energy solutions, landscaping, rewilding where appropriate, and cultivation of local crops. Interesting. I mean, it's gorgeous, and there's ruins on the property. I can see those in the photos. But it is, it's also haunted, and I don't know if we're ever going to get a chance to go see it again. It sounds like, or from the description of the photos, that the ruins are the ones that are haunted on there, but still very cool. Up next in paranormal news, the truth about the first Loch Ness monster, not a monster, photo 92 years later. An American's quest for Nessie will be explored in a new Amazon Prime doc coming in December. See the true story behind the first picture snapped in 1933. Let's see. 92 years on from this iconic photo, the story behind that single frame continues to be scrutinized and questioned. Yet the snap sparked a frenzy that still draws thrill seekers to Loch Ness today in search of the elusive cryptid. We're taking a look at how this snapshot came to be, the decades-long debate around its legitimacy, and why Nessie's continued legend captivates imaginations nearly a century later. Hugh Gray's 1933 image is widely considered as the first alleged photo of Nessie. Sightings of the mysterious creature dated back we all know about Nessie. Bum. There's a cool photo of a search party looking for Nessie in 1933. I like that. The original image is very odd looking. It's not the one you're thinking of. I guarantee you're thinking of the profile of Nessie that's in black. That's actually a fake photo. It was a cardboard cutout taped to a little toy submarine. No, this is a very blurry, wandery photo. I'll throw it in the Facebook fan page if you guys want to take a look. But, yeah, it's a very, very blurry photo that's, as it says here, it's been left a much open interpretation, with some arguing that it was local wildlife, floating debris, or even Hugh's own Labrador with a stick in his mouth. Oh, I can kind of see. I was going to say no. No, I can kind of see that, actually. You can kind of see. Wow. Now that that's in my head, that's all I can see in this photo. It does look like a dog swimming towards the camera, kind of facing towards the right a little bit, with something in its mouth. I would have said like eel or snake or fish or something, but I can kind of see a dog's head, a Labrador's head in there. Interesting. I never ever picked that up in that photo. Alrighty, let's keeping on. Up next in paranormal news, scientists saw a man move energy with his mind. Then the government classified it. That's the idea behind one of Pop Mech's most compelling recent stories. The CIA watched him bend reality with just his mind and then tried to turn his consciousness into a weapon. We go back to 1972 for this story. An artist named Ingo Swann allegedly altered the magnetic field in a sealed vacuum chamber just by thinking about it. That led to Project Stargate. If you don't know what that is, I did an episode about it a long time ago. Find that episode. There's a full episode about it. It's actually really cool. The whole PSYOPs, psychic spies, what the government was doing, well, very, pretty in depth back in the day, and some say, still is. And I wouldn't be surprised at all. Look, my little dipping my toe into remote viewing taught me that anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I don't have any psychic powers, yet for some reason, I was doing fairly well. If I had more time, that was right around the time when I'm pretty sure that was right around the time when I had learned that I had to move out of my last place. So I was very, I didn't have the time for it. I didn't have the mind or free time for it. Or whatever was happening around my life at that time. I didn't have the time for it. I would like to get back in to learning how to do remote viewing again, because I was just as shocked as anybody that I was getting anything right in these sealed remote viewings. There is something to it. Project Stargate, definitely something to it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can watch some really bad videos on YouTube from me trying to remote view. It's really very weird. All righty, up next in paranormal news, I'm going to read the translation first. I've not looked at the photo yet, but a photo snapped by a motorist in Mexico appears to show a flying saucer hovering over a hill. It was taken earlier this week by a driver cruising alongside a highway from Orizaba to Nogales. I don't know. I've never been to Mexico. I apologize. As is often the case, it was only after they looked at the photo they realized they had actually caught a UFO on camera. So I'm very eager to see this photo. Let me pull it up now. Oh, yeah, and they got a red circle around it, but I would have been able to figure out where the UFO was. Yeah, it looks like a UFO. Here's my only problem with the photo. There's obviously water droplets on, I'm assuming, a windshield or a side window of a car. I don't think it is a water droplet, but I could see some skeptics going, that's just, a shadow and a water droplet. But it looks like a flying saucer above a jungle kind of a thing. Yeah, it looks like a UFO. I don't know what else to say about that. All righty. For this next part, this post-paranormal news part of this episode, I wanted to talk about Atlas 3I. You know, that mysterious comet, UFO, wherever you're getting your info. Kurt here, I think it's a comet that seems to be just, floating by, not doing anything to spark multiple articles a day, in my opinion, but boy, howdy is it. So I'm going to go through all the very obvious, it is literally, there's like hourly updates on their Facebook page. If you find the Atlas 3I group on Facebook, there is hourly updates that I'm going to give you all the totally real, not AI or fake nonsense, Atlas 3I updates directly from the Atlas 3I Facebook group, or as many as I can before I get bored with this bit. My God, people are putting a lot of time and effort into Atlas 3I. I think it is just a comet that happened to fly by that we didn't know about. It's very interesting. That alone, interesting, incredibly cool. You don't have to add all the stuff that Avi Loeb is adding without any scrap of evidence at all. Mysterious interstellar object recently made its closest pass to the sun, or the perihelion, brightening up before it exploded. That's right. Now, there are multiple Atlas 3Is that are headed directly for Earth. Some say they're also going to Mars. Okay, Kurt here, that would not be heading directly for Earth if some say are going some to Mars. They say it's at least 3.1 miles across with a mass of at least 33 billion tons. None of that is proven. It blew up and it's coming right at us. Breaking into fragments would have increased the surface area of its material. No, it wouldn't. It would have spread it out. It wouldn't have increased the surface area. Learn how stuff works. Avi Loeb suggests that 3I Atlas could have split up into at least 16 equal pieces and likely many more, which would mean that 3I Atlas exploded and we are witnessing the resulting fireworks as these tinier UFOs are headed to Earth. That deserves another one of these. Yeah, hey, look, that sounds awesome. Is there anything, and I mean anything, to say that happened? No, not at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a tiny, tiny little bit. But that's not the only one. From 2 hours ago, 3I Atlas is moving away from Earth. The spaceship could suddenly make a turn, but right now, it is seemed to be turning away from Earth. Yeah, it probably picked up a lot of signals from Earth and was like, I don't want to go there. Let's turn around and go back home. Yesterday, many posts have been circulating about Atlas 3I. Some of the theories sound like straight up science fiction. Let me just tell you, they're all real. Well, all right. Why, and how do you know? Let's see. If the government knew there was an alien starship potentially headed towards Earth, they wouldn't tell us. No, that's true, but if it gets close enough, we're going to all see it. You know, you can look up. Every telescope is not owned by the government. That's not how it'll work. This next one, I feel bad for this person. 39 minutes ago. Anyone else having random panic attacks thinking about 3i Atlas? Seriously, worrying if we are a species, if we even have a future beyond 2025, and having no one around to talk to is giving me major stress and anxiety. Okay, calm down. There's a lot more things to worry about. Look, Atlas 3i was supposed to kill us in October, the last week of October. We're all still here. It's okay. We'll get through this too. Here we go. This morning, Saturday, November 15th, 11 a.m., 3i Atlas is 15.5 AU from the sun, or 1,441,500,000 miles. No, that's definitely not true. The sun is 92 million miles away, and that's why it looks so small. There's your They Might Be Giants reference. So, sorry, Laird. Math is hard for you. Breaking news. Oh, my God. Breaking news. James Webb Telescope detected 3i Atlas just exploded, and scientists can't explain why. No, it didn't. The James Webb Telescope is not pointed at the sun. And if it was, again, 2 people up. The government wouldn't tell us. Let's see. Oh, it's turned different colors. It's now blue, green, red. Whoa, it's all kinds of colors. So it's like blinking. It's like disco lights. All right, cool. Ooh, breaking news. Boy, there's so much breaking news. James Webb Telescope detects alien life inside 3i Atlas. The shocking discovery that will change everything. No, it doesn't have that. Ugh, no, it can't do that. Stop it. Layered again with more math he can't figure out. Here we go. Laird is now saying that Atlas 3i has an average apparent speed of 240,384 miles per hour, which is up, everyone, from 152,000 that it was recently clocked at. It's a very specific number. Let's see. NASA finally shows new 3i Atlas images, and it's getting worse. Skip ahead. Avi Loeb shocks the world. It's not a comet. The truth will blow your mind. Not pushing the button again. I don't care. Astronomers warn 3i Atlas is racing towards Earth, and its strange signals suggest it may be an active alien spacecraft, unlike anything humanity has ever seen. Okay. James Webb Telescope just released new data about 3i Atlas, and it's getting worse. Boy, that's... Oh, here we go. Elon Musk says, we are in danger. Sure, of Elon Musk, not of Atlas 3i. Atlas 3i images destroy comet theory. Avi Loeb's devastating analysis. No, still no. Again, James Webb Telescope just detected it's changing course and it's heading towards Earth. Boy, you guys are like really tuned into James Webb Telescope on this freaking chat group. What say you now, 3i Atlas conspiracy theorists? Let's see. Atlas 3i was actually an ancient alien invader hidden in a space rock. Okay. Look, if you want to have fun, don't join the official Atlas 3i Facebook group. Or do. You can do whatever you want. Here's my post. I don't know how I got into this group because it wasn't part of that, but Avi Loeb is doubling down. He now says 1029 will be the end. Well, that didn't work out, did it now? So there you go. Look, people, I get it. It's weird. We didn't know where it came from. We don't know where it's going. It's a comet. There's nothing to say that it's changing course, speeding up to random speeds. If it is turning colors, It's because of its chemical makeup, and it's getting closer to the sun. Did it explode? Is it on its way to Earth? Is it a bunch of tiny UFOs now? Stay tuned to Paranormal Almanac. Next week's episode is all about nothing of that sort. I kind of don't care anymore. Alrighty, up next in non-paranormal news, Look, I know I'm late on the update, but do you guys remember when I said there were no columns under the pyramids? And a bunch of you said, oh, what do you know, Kurt? Nee, you're stupid, blah, blah, blah. You don't know, blah. This guy said that there was, so he's right and you're wrong. Well, love these kind of updates. Josh Gates, Expedition Unknown, actually went under the pyramids. And no, there are no batteries or chambers or long columns. He literally goes into a chamber in the bedrock that's actually carved into the bedrock. And he actually shows you what's under that chamber, because I forget who it was, it's like the French or somebody that were, trying to excavate the pyramids, thought, oh, maybe the chamber's down there that has the mummy in it. Let's go down there, Khufu's mummy. And they dug deep, deep, deep into, not that deep, like 20 feet or something, deep into the bedrock and went, there's only bedrock. You can literally watch them go under the pyramids on Expedition Unknown. They show you the bedrock. It's really neat. I mean, regardless of how wrong you are about columns being under the pyramids and how right I was, it is really a neat episode to watch because I did not understand. I guess I really didn't even understand how big the pyramids are. You can say, I mean, obviously you've seen the photos and you're like, well, it's big. It's towering over the town and it's towering over the Sphinx. When he walks right up to the main rocks, or those the rocks that are angled that hold up, like the shelf rocks, whatever they're called, it's even bigger than I possibly imagined. And there's going to be a part 2, which I can't wait for. But this is me gloating. I'm right. You were wrong. All those people that were like, oh, I'm going to stop following you because you don't know what you're talking about. You're making stupid stuff up. No, I wasn't. I was doing research and then giving you that research. It wasn't even my research. It was other scientists' research on it. And I was very happy that they were proven right, that there are not batteries or columns that go down miles underneath the pyramids. It's bedrock. All righty. What else we got? Oh, that'll do it for paranormal news. Let's see. What's new with my life here? Oh, I went to see Drem by Auntie Donna this week. That is the Australians that I was talking about in the shout out if you didn't skip that. Yeah, I get to meet Auntie Donna, which was very incredibly cool. I'm a huge fan of Auntie Donna. I've met them before. They're the nicest guys in the world. But Drem, I went to see it. It is slightly, and I mean very slightly, paranormal related, but it is insanely funny. I also got to chat with Jeff Cohen, who you might know as Chunk from the Goonies. And I got to tell you, man, I've talked to him before. He is the nicest guy in the world. In fact, I talked to him before at Auntie Donna, another Auntie Donna show. He's the nicest guy. Very, very cool guy. What else came and went since I've talked to you last? Oh, I became a member of the Los Angeles Breakfast Club, which just celebrated its 100th birthday. You might know some of the previous members, like Amelia Earhart, Mel Blanc, Walt freaking Disney. I'm so excited to be part of this incredible institution. I was supposed to be initiated. My initiation hasn't happened yet. I'm technically a member. I am, I paid my dues. They offered, I accepted, I became a member. But my initiation has not happened as of this recording. It'll happen very, very soon. It was supposed to happen on my birthday next week. Spoiler, my birthday's next week. It was supposed to happen on my birthday next week, but plans changed on their side, so I couldn't do it next week, which would have been neat. I would have liked to have become a member of this incredible group on my birthday, but that's fine. I'm very excited. I don't know when my initiation will be, but I'm very, very excited to be part of this institution. You can just look it up. It's Los Angeles Breakfast Club. If you want to find out any of the details about it, they've got a cool thing on their website about the history of the club. It's just fun. That's why I like them. It's not some weird, spanky, Freemasony kind of a thing. It's just stupid fun and very cool people. Like I said, I've been to a number. I don't even know how many of their events I've been to, but I've been to a number of their events. I went to one for Paul Rubens for his birthday after he passed, but still very incredibly cool. I don't know. I'm blanking. I've been to, I went to one for Dr. Demento, which was incredibly cool. They are just an incredibly fun group of people. I'm very excited to say that I'm a member of the Los Angeles Breakfast Club, and I hope I can do them justice. Okay, but when Paranormal Almanac returns, we will once again go to the 1980s and beyond. We are back. Okay. Oh, sorry. Before we get into the episode, this is the last week to get limited edition merch. So if you want 300th merch for some reason, now is the time to get it. Also, I was told that now is pretty much the last chance to get merch for Christmas. So if you're ordering any Paranormal Almanac stuff for your friends and family, I would say do it sooner rather than later if you want it on Christmas or for the holidays. I also just realized I was supposed to spin the wheel for all of the Paramaniacs to find out who won the shirt, and I did not have that ready. I'm supposed to literally it says press the wheel now. Well, I can't, Kurt. I forgot to do that. So I'll put that up on the Patreon. I'll spin the wheel after this episode, and I'll let the patrons know who won the free 300th episode shirt for just being a patron, because you guys are freaking awesome, and I can't thank you enough. Okay, with that out of the way, let's continue with the 1980s paranormal incidents. But I will say I'm going to cheat on this first one. The incidents that happened actually happened in the 1960s, but they were brought to light in 1980 when they were made into a horror film called The Changeling. But that movie was actually shot in the 70s. So I'm just going to be jumping around. It's the 80s, okay, basically. Have you ever seen the movie The Changeling? I just watched it prepping for this episode. I wasn't scared. There's a cool scene in it I'll talk about later in this episode. It wasn't that scary. I thought it was going to be... Look, everybody's like, this is the most terrifying movie that ever happened in the 1980s. Really? Because I saw Poltergeist in the 1980s, and that movie scared the fuck out of me. Way more than The Changeling did. I mean, it's a cool movie, don't get me wrong. But, no, I didn't pee, I didn't cry, I didn't wet my... There is no trauma, post-traumatic Changeling trauma. It was cool, but let's see if I can verify anything that happened. What the fuck? Alexa, stop talking. Don't talk to me about trauma. I'm doing an episode. Oh, scared the shit out of me. What was I saying? Jesus Christ, derailed the shit out of me. That scared the crap out of me. Let me see if I can verify anything that happened. And let me see if I can separate fact from fiction on this one. And I say that as a warning of this episode took a little bit of deep diving. And I'm still not sure I deep dove it enough. But yeah, I'm going to try and separate fact from fiction about the true story that inspired this guy to write the movie The Changeling. So let's jump right into The Changeling house. Not really, because, spoiler, it was torn down. But we go to the Cheeseman Park neighborhood of Denver, Colorado, which already, I'm like, yep, I'm into this. Is there an entity or a cryptid named Cheeseman? If so, this is going to be the best episode yet. So I went down that rabbit hole. No, it's just a dumb old dead person's last name and not a ghost made of cheese or a cryptid that offers you cheese in exchange for your soul, and they call him the Cheese Man. You can only find him at the Cheeseman Park, which I got to say, that would be really tempting. You know, like, if I was walking through a park and this cryptid appeared out of nowhere, I'm like, hi, I'm the Cheese Man. Yeah, give me your soul, and I'll give you all of these cheeses. I'd have to see what kind of if you're talking Velveeta, nah, I'm good. But if you're talking some like triple cream brie or like Saint Andre or really getting into some of these high-end cheeses, you know, you got me. Let's talk. Oh, let's talk for a minute. Not saying I'd do it, but it's pretty damn tempting. So no, we go back to the Cheeseman Park neighborhood of Denver, Colorado in the late 1960s when playwright Russell Hunter moved into the Henry Treat Rogers Mansion. So, before we get to the paranormal, I deep dove the Henry Treat Rogers Mansion. It was located at 1739 East 13th Avenue. Again, it's been torn down since then. It's now an apartment complex built by Henry Treat Rogers, and it's right next to the Cheeseman Park. It's in that same neighborhood. Boy, howdy. Spoiler, Cheeseman Park's got a lot of crazy shit happening, even without that cool cryptid. A prominent lawyer and his wife, Kate Rogers, that's Henry Treat Rogers, who was a prominent lawyer, his wife, Kate Rogers, they filed a permit with the city of Denver in July of 1892 to build a brick dwelling in the Wyman's Addition of Denver. Architect Henry Ake Wendell, or Wendell, I'm assuming it's Wendell, designed the home. All right, this little tidbit will be important later when I get to the spooky. The couple, Henry Treat Rogers, his wife Kate, did not have any children. But they did have a niece and nephew who spent time living in their home. The niece, Frances Clark Ristine, she came from Illinois to live with the Rogers when she was 10 years old and stayed until her marriage to George Ristine. After living in Chicago for several years, Frances and her husband returned to Denver after the death of Henry Treat Rogers in 1922 and lived in the house with Kate, who formally adopted Frances as her daughter around 1927. Now, Frances became the longtime secretary for Denver Orphans Home and the president of the Globeville Day Nursery while living in Denver. She actually inherited the house, once again, at 1739 East 13th Avenue, plus a small fortune after the death of Kate Rogers in 1931. Frances died 3 years later, sadly, in 1934. That sucks. You finally inherit this mansion and a small fortune, and boom, you're dead within 3 years? That's some shit life. The nephew, Henry Treat Rogers II, he graduated from Yale in 1914, came to work with his uncle's law firm, Rogers, Ellis, and Johnson, around 1916. He lived at the house. He enlisted in World War I in 1917, never returned to the house. How'd he die? I don't know. There's a variety of different reasons. Didn't matter to me too much, so I just moved past it. He died in 1918 at the age of 25. Okay, so again, it will come up later. No children were thought to live in this house. And that is if this is even the correct haunted house, because there's even more stuff coming up later. Alrighty, so there's the backstory on the house, who lived in it, who they think the ghost I'm about to talk about comes from. Doesn't make any sense, but that's what they say. But let's get back to the 1960s and Russell Hunter. But before I do that, I got to take another sip of this freaking... I swear to God, Mr. Pibb is not paying me for this. They should be... Mr. Pibb, send me a case of Mr. Pibb for as much as I'm talking about how good this fucking soda is, but damn, it's good. Plus, I don't really drink soda much anymore, so it's really good for that reason alone. Back to the 60s, Russell Hunter. He said in interviews that he moved to Colorado from New York City in the late 1960s to help his parents manage the Three Birches Lodge in Boulder. Now, I looked into that because I wanted to find out everything I could about Russell Hunter. He is the guy that is going to write the movie Changeling based on experiences that he said happened to him at this house, that 1739 East 13th Avenue. But he never gave the address. That's the address everybody thinks. There is no proof that he rented that house in the 1960s. But again, scholars and people that really, really deep dove this don't seem to care that there's no real proof for that. And I kind of get behind that. I doubt there would be paperwork still that showed that he lived there. But I wanted to find out, is any of this true? Did he even live in Colorado? Turns out, yes. Did his parents actually manage the Three Birches Lodge? Yes. So, he did move there. He did live in Colorado. Small details, but so far, this story is checking out. He would later claim in an interview that he actually rented that estate for the unbelievable price of $200 per month because no one else wanted to live there. I mean, cool little anecdote. No way to prove that or disprove it, but neat nonetheless. So let's get to the spooky, though. So Russell Hunter moves into this house and says it seems spooky almost right from the get-go. Then he claimed to have discovered a trunk containing a 9-year-old's school books and journal from a century ago. All right, technically, we know 2 kids did live there in the 1890s, and one was a boy. So, okay, maybe that's true. He said the journal detailed the life of a disabled boy who was kept in isolation on the 3rd floor of the house by his parents. Okay, again, the Rogers weren't publicly known to have a son, but let's keep going on this one. Russell said he did a seance, which I'm about to talk about in just a minute, that revealed the spirit of a deceased boy in the house. Okay. Russell claimed the beginning of February 9th, 1969, he started experiencing strange phenomena in the house. First, there was the unbelievable banging and crashing that occurred every morning at 6 a.m. He said the noise downstairs would stop as soon as his feet would touch the floor of his bedroom every time. The second he would put his foot down on the floor from the bed, the banging, the insanely loud banging and crashing downstairs would stop immediately. Then, faucets began to turn on them by themselves. The doors opened and closed on their own. Walls vibrated violently, tossing paintings to the floor, all the usual paranormal activity as well. He said it only got worse when he and an architect friend of his uncovered a hidden staircase in the back of a closet. That stairway led to the 3rd floor of the home, where he found the child's trunk containing a 9-year-old's school book and journal from a century ago. Once again, that journal detailed the life of a disabled boy, wrote about his favorite toy, which was a red rubber ball. Cut to, y'all know where this is going. A few nights later, after discovering the trunk, I don't know why I said discovering the trunk. I turned it a little bit into a Sean Connery right then. A few nights later, after discovering the trunk, a red rubber ball dropped from the top of a spiral staircase in the home landing at Russell's feet. So this red ball, out of nowhere, that he just found in this closed-off room, went dun, 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 down spiral staircase, which is impressive, landing right at his feet. Alrighty, so he claimed that seance revealed the whole story of a sickly child who was heir to the fortune from his maternal grandfather. When the boy became gravely ill, his parents worried that the boy's inheritance would pass to a different branch of the family. So, seance, legend, story, whatever you want to call it, says the boy dies and the couple secretly buried him in a field in southeast Denver and adopted a boy from a local orphanage who perfectly resembled their deceased son. Sounds outlandish. Sadly, it's not unheard of. That has happened, in the past, shall we say. The family then trained that boy to take on the identity of their deceased boy, who went on to become a well-educated and successful lawyer, I believe. Okay. Hard part here is there's not enough info on the boy to research. And I mean the dead boy, that sickly dead boy at this location. I gave a serious effort, college try, whatever you want to call it, into trying to find some more information about the boy. And it's not just me. Damn, a bunch of other people online tried as well. So, continuing on, Russell said that at the seance, the boy also gave directions to his burial place, which is now under a house on the South Dahlia Street. So Russell's like, okay, there you go. Let's go check that out. He goes over to that house, gets permission from a family to dig under that home. That's got to be a conversation. Hey, I did a seance at my haunted house, and the dead boy that lives there says that his real body is under your floors. Can you mind if I dig up your floors? And the family's just like, yeah, sure, why not? Sounds good. Yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to find. Yep, they let him do it. Boom. Russell says they find human remains and a gold medallion inscribed with the deceased boy's name. Kurt, here is the fucking problem. I can't find anything out about this discovery, which 100% would have made the news in the 1960s. Also, no photos of a gold medallion or even the damn kid's name. As far as I can find, Russell never gives, and that boy's name was Casper Archibald. You know, like, give me a fucking name to go on. So right here, I was like, nope, I'm calling bullshit on this story. But nope, I wanted to keep going. Maybe he is purposefully keeping details to himself. Maybe, but how did they... Look, if you find a skeleton of a dead boy in your basement, police are going to be called. That story's going to get out there. Even if the police weren't called, for whatever reason in the 1960s, the police weren't called, you're telling me that nobody in the neighborhood's going to talk? Like, hey, did you hear that the Smiths found a dead boy with a gold medallion around his neck underneath their floor? This story would get out. But nothing. I can't find anything about it. But again, let's keep going. A few days later, Hunter stated he began to experience more violent, ghostly activity in his home. He said that glass doors actually blew up in my face and severed an artery in my wrist. Pause here. I was like, ooh, cool. I want to find some photos. There's got to be a photo of him with a cool scar on his wrist. There's like fuck all for photos of this guy. It's from the 1960s, not the 1860s. Fuck all for photos of this guy. He said the inner walls over the head of my bed violently imploded. He said that water would pool on the floors out of nowhere, and no plumbers could find a source for where this water was coming from or why it seemed to go away by itself. So basically, he's had enough of the house. He moves out, and he said he only returned to it again to, quote, watch its demolition, which made way for a high-rise apartment building. He said, as the walls of the wing which had contained my bedroom collapsed, they suddenly flew outwards and crushed to death the man operating the bulldozer. Kurt here. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Again, zero proof this ever happened. It's the 1960s. A news story would have done, hey, they were demoing the supposed haunted house, and a wall blew outwards and crushed the man operating the bulldozer. Nope, not a word about it. All right, so few things debunked, a whole lot unproven, but what did I find that made me even think maybe some of this could possibly still be true? I have a feeling, this is my personal, I'm going to give you a spoiler of my personal opinion of this story. I have a feeling that Russell Hunter rented a house in the area and had some spooky ghost stuff happen. And then because he's a playwright, he just embellished it a little bit. I don't think all of this stuff happened, but I think maybe possibly something happened. Why do I say that? Because there does seem to be proof of a haunted house near that area. On February 13th, 1902, the Denver Times reported the following. The haunted house at the corner of 19th and Grant Avenues narrowly escaped destruction last night by firebugs who ignited the place. The house, which has been empty for the last 3 years, was at one time owned by a wealthy family, J.A. Fleming, a real estate man who is charge of the property cannot rent it on the account of the reputation of it being haunted. Okay, that is not the same name as above. So maybe it's a different house. Maybe it's not the Henry Treat Rogers house. Maybe the address over time has just kind of gotten muddled and it's a different house. It's actually J.A. Fleming's house. All right. June 18th, 1903, the Denver Times reported that the 3-story, 14-bedroom residence, today the site of an apartment complex, matches up, was looked upon by the neighbors and city health department officials as, quote, a public nuisance and a detriment to that section of the city. Due to the rumors of it being haunted, the newspaper reported that the house has not been occupied for 10 years and was now the sleeping place of tramps. On November 4th, 1904, the Rocky Mountain News ran a story entitled, Ghost Revels in Musty Garret of Haunted House, which detailed a seance that was actually performed in the home. A haunted house, the same big, rambling, dusty, cobweb, bare rooms, the plaster falling off, doors battered down, windows boarded up, the air musty with the damp of 20 years, the very atmosphere suppressed with tense mystery, creaking, whistling windows, cold drafts as from the grave. In such a place last night, a crowd of 14 persons sat for 4 hours in darkness while waiting for ghostly manifestations. It was there last night that a group of spiritualists, under the leadership of Madame Thompson, a medium, endeavored to bring out the stories and forms of several suicides and murder victims supposed to be roaming restlessly there. Interesting. It kept going on. In a room on the 3rd floor of the house, the group joined hands, extinguished a solitary candle, and sang the hymn, Near My God to Thee. As Madame Thompson began her seance, an unearthly scream frightened the group. It was soon discovered, however, that the noises had originated from a few latecomers to the seance. The ceremony continued. One woman in the room claimed to see a vision of a fair, beautiful girl, her low-necked gown stained a hideous red. Nope, come on. Yeah, that gets one of those. The article describes the frightening details of the seance. A pretty young girl shrieked aloud in terror as she shrank back in her seat. Throwing her hands to her ears, she kept the horrible sounds out, and then another moment, the woman had risen. But again, she went into a trance and rose to the middle of the floor. I'm shot, she cried, and fell heavily. With painful care, she drew herself to her hands and knees and crawled slowly along. Oh, they've got me. Then she sank prone. Then, in a weird, tremulous voice, she again commenced. And now they're going through my pockets. And I'm dead. All right. Very interesting. That house would have been torn down, according to these news articles, though. But my point is, maybe it's not the house we all thought it was, or these people that everybody who's researched it thought it was. I'm just getting my information from other people's research. Maybe it's not that house. Everything that I can find is very vague from Russell Hunter. So he never, as far as I can say, he never said it was definitely that house, that the house that I've just been talking about this whole time. Maybe it's a different house. There does seem to be, in this very neighborhood, a very haunted house from the 1900s. I don't know. Possibly. I want to give it a pass of maybe that could explain it. But then I found a few sites about the supposed haunted house that inspired the movie The Changeling, and I found some gold in the comments. Obviously, grain of salt, these comments, but some interesting ones. The first one says, when I was 9 or 10, I used to bag Mr. Hunter's leaves. He lived down the street from my family with his black dog, Loki. His house was filled with antiques and a large piano, which he played well. I witnessed a few interesting situations at his house. The story he told me was of a little boy who was killed by a coal cart in front of the mansion. The boy's name was Eric. That was the spirit that haunted the mansion and supposedly followed Mr. Hunter to his new residence near me. Okay, what new residence? What are you talking about? Where is this house at? I would love to reply to these comments, but these comments are now 11, 12 years old. So I'm going to say that this person that was 9 or 10 in the 1960s, probably still with us, but I doubt is checking on that comment daily. Another comment said that there are still about 2,000 bodies still buried under the place which used to be a cemetery is pretty spooky indeed. And the story about the con artist who gave them the job to move the approximate 5,000 bodies is nothing short of horrifying. And I went, wait, what? What are you talking about? I went down that rabbit hole, and this one is true. Cheeseman Park, the park that all of these houses are right by. The park that this house that Russell Hunter rented. That park was originally a city cemetery called Mount Prospect Cemetery. It was established in 1859. It was eventually transformed into a park in 1893, where they said they moved the bodies. Yep, poltergeist time. But an estimated 3,000 bodies still remain buried underneath that park land to this day. How is that possible, you might ask? Well, thank you for asking. I have an answer. In 1893, the task of moving 5,000 graves began under the management of Undertaker E.P. McGovern. Due to the mishandling of the project, including allegations of dismembering corpses so they could be placed in child-sized coffins. Why? I'll tell you more in a second. McGovern was famously dismissed before all the graves can be relocated. This is according to the library's history of the park. Initially, the city asked friends and family of the deceased to move their caskets by themselves. Like, you got to pay. You want your family out of this old rundown cemetery that we're going to make into a park. You got to move your friends or family. This process left thousands of bodies still in the ground. So, in early 1893, the city hired that Undertaker dude, Edward McGovern, to dig them up and move them for $1.90 per body. That's when he had the brilliant idea of separating the bodies into smaller pieces, put each of those pieces into a different casket, and filled the caskets with dirt and rocks to make it seem like they had removed many more bodies than they actually had, so we could get that $1.90 per body. That's true. That's fucked up. That's crazy. So how do we know that this is true? Besides the fact that it is, and the county's own library has done the history of the park and has it right there just in plain as day. Well, newspapers. 4 skeletons were found during irrigation work in the park. That's in 2010. 2008. Several bodies were found under Cheeseman Park. Yeah, those stories just keep going. They keep finding bones or bodies, sometimes when they're not even digging for like irrigation work or to change up the park or whatever. Sometimes the bodies just come up themselves, or bones come up themselves because of the rain. Then I found this. Many of the 19th century mansions located in Capitol Hill, some right on the edge of Cheeseman Park / cemetery, are reportedly haunted as well. This includes the Stoiber Reed Humphreys mansion on 10th and Humboldt. It's said a woman can be found on the dining room table holding her severed head in her hands, and the head is weeping. The story goes that when it came time to move the bodies from Cheeseman Park, her head was taken to one place while her body was left in Cheeseman. The next comment from that site. Now, well, actually, before I move on, how crazy is that? Where I was like, that can't be true. That is a lot. 3,000 bodies still underneath a park? Bullshit. That's got to be an exaggeration. Nope, that's not an exaggeration at all. Minimum of 2,000, an estimate of 3,000 bodies are still remain buried underneath the park. Hey, kids, you want to go to the park and play? Come on. All righty. Next comment from that site. Our family, the Richard L. Fenton family, lived in this home for about 3 years from 1959 through 1962. We belonged to the Immaculate Conception Cathedral, and we all went to the Cathedral Elementary or High School located a few blocks north of the cathedral. This school closed down shortly after we moved. I am the youngest of 7 children who lived in this home that Hunter is talking about. I loved this beautiful home while we lived there, and I have a few photos of the home throughout my time frame. My sister had her wedding reception in this house, and my parents celebrated their 25th anniversary there. So I also have photos of the dining room and living rooms where family photos were taken. Anyway, we did not have any hauntings during our period at the home, but I do recall being told that the owners had some of their belongings stored in the attic, and we were not to go up there. I don't believe we ever did. All right. Here's a person just prior, 7 years prior to Russell Hunter moving in that house, saying, yeah, we lived there. Sure, it wasn't haunted when they lived there, but they also never bothered that supposed trunk that he found in that closed-off room in the attic or third floor of the house. How crazy cool is that? Here's an interesting comment. Grain of salt, this one, though. Shortly after this movie came out, my family and I met with Russell Hunter at his home in Denver. Our family actually lived in the mansion before Mr. Hunter did in the mid-1960s. Okay, so it's apparently a different commenter than the one I just read to you, which was 59 through 62. So this person either lived there from 62 to 69 or is lying. But wait, hold on. Don't jump ahead. Russell Hunter deliberately gave false information, including its true address. For reasons I cannot recall at this time, but we did discuss this with him. It might have had something to do with the threat on his life. Most of the events in the movie did not actually happen. There was not a boy, a wheelchair, etc. While Mr. Hunter was living there, he had done some remodeling work and found the attic. I remember my father searching a long time for the attic. You could see the small window from the outside of the house, but he couldn't locate it. The reason why was because the doorway to the stairs of the attic was hidden behind a wall in the butler's pantry. Well, that checks out. The mansion was located at 1313 William Street. And yes, it was torn down as well as other mansions on William Street by a real estate developer. I used to have photos of the original house when it was built and photos of the changes that the homeowners made later on, still in the early 1900s. Also, I had copies of the building permits, etc., with the homeowners' names on it. I know for sure that the Phipps family did not own this house, and Henry Treat Rogers does not sound familiar to me. So sorry you did all of that research on the wrong address. Mr. Hunter, may he rest in peace, was a very interesting gentleman, a great storyteller, and a playwright. We enjoyed our time with him. I loved the movie, too. It was quite exciting to find out the movie was based on a home that we had once lived in. Okay, is that true at all? I don't know. Maybe. Again, these comments are like 12 years old on some tiny little website. I don't know. But that's interesting. That's a whole different address. And this person talked to Russell Hunter, supposedly. Again, grain of salted, but supposedly. It does add up to some of the stuff that Russell Hunter said about, a wall behind the butler's pantry and whatnot, but is it true? I don't know. As much as I would like to say, and then I found the smoking gun. I never found the smoking gun for this one. But let's get to the movie, The Changeling, and some trivia about it. Exterior shots were matte paintings. The interior were just sets on sound stages. None of it was shot at the actual haunted house. But weird shit did apparently happen during the filming of The Changeling. Supposedly, crew members began to report weird things would start to happen on set. Tools would go missing, cold spots in isolated corners. One lighting technician reportedly left the set and wouldn't return after hearing unhuman crying coming from nowhere. Several studio musicians that worked on the score apparently walked out, citing a presence in the recording booth, and rumors say the composer would compose the score under one condition, that he would never visit the set. And I'm calling bullshit on that one. Composers don't typically visit the set. It's done in post-production. Also, why would you need your composer to visit the set? That's not necessary. Post-production. Speaking of composers, though, there is a shot of the orchestra in the movie, and a seriously dumb online rumor said that the extra that played the composer never blinked, not once, and no one could find his paperwork or even knew his name, and he just vanished after the shot. Well, it took me all of 30 seconds to debunk that nonsense. The conductor in the 1980 horror film The Changeling is played by Vancouver Symphony Orchestra music director Kazuyoshi Akiyama. He conducts a live music performance in the film and is a brief celebrity cameo. So, all you dumb sites and YouTube videos spouting this ghost conductor in the movie nonsense, stop it. Seriously, stop it. That was not even 30 seconds of research to debunk that one. Here's another one. A mirror in the movie had a ghost appear in it, so they cut the shot. But when they went back to show other people that shot, the real ghost was just gone completely. What? No. Bullshit. I want to see that. I want to see that shot that was supposedly cut from the movie that you said there was a ghost in. Can't find it because it didn't happen. Director Peter Medek did say that he felt a ghost while staying at, quote, the historic mansion that inspired the Changeling film. So apparently he stayed at the house that inspired it and did feel a ghostly presence, but he doesn't say what the fucking address was. Screenwriters Diana Maddox and William Gray, they spent around 6 months doing research for the picture, which included copious newspaper articles on parapsychological encounters, over 700 books, and almost 2,000 case histories. That's cool. That's a lot of work for a movie, but good on you. It's a very popular horror movie, so seems to be well done. So there you go. A very hard to track down the facts, famous haunted location from a 1980 movie called The Changeling. I gotta say, though, sadly, AI is making my job so much harder. Finding out facts is getting harder and harder, which is, again, why I love finding historical newspapers to avoid all this AI nonsense. And yes, I know I did an AI episode a while ago, but that was before I knew how bad AI was for the environment and how much fake shit it's already spouting online. So I am not a fan of AI. It is definitely muddying up my research that I do for episodes. And again, I know I just said this on the Facebook fan page for a different topic, but I don't fucking care. I'm going to say it here as well. I take pride in the amount of due diligence and work I do for these episodes. It really bums me out when someone says, you're just reading shit you find online, or you're not doing any research, or you're just regurgitating. No, I am not. I could have easily thrown in that stupid bullshit about the composer ghost. And that's spooky. Oh, it's spooky. You guys know, any real fan that listens to this show will know that I try to do my due diligence to find the truth out about stuff. Because I take pride in this show. If I didn't, I wouldn't do this show. I could easily just write up a bullshit script based on bullshit websites regurgitating the same nonsense over and over again, and then have AI read it to you on YouTube, and I'd get way more hits than my YouTube does. Like, it's insane. These bullshit YouTube videos about the Changeling have thousands of hits, and it's all bullshit. Like, not 1 second of actual corroborated evidence, or even those newspapers. Nothing. So it does bum me out. I gotta say, I don't know. I'm gonna get too deep into this. I hope you guys know that I do try to do my due diligence on these episodes, and I hope it comes across. I really do. But there you go. There is a story, and as a movie, I had not seen this movie until this week. Have you guys ever seen The Changeling? It's a good movie. It's not anything that blew me away. I'm sure back in its day in 1980, it was probably really groundbreaking, but it's a beautifully shot movie, don't get me wrong. I don't know. Have you ever What do you think? Have you ever deep dived, gone down the rabbit hole on the story that inspired The Changeling? It's a tough one. It really, really is a tough one. I hope you guys enjoy these kinds of episodes. I wanted to stick with the 1980s because Stranger Things was coming out, and I was shocked about 2 episodes in a row now where it's just one topic that is a very deep dove, quote, famous, that not to me, paranormal incident. So I got to say, though, I did like the red rubber ball scene in the movie. I wasn't terrified like a bunch of other people have said, but no, it's a good movie. Once again, I'm your host, Kurt Sandvik. This has been another edition of Paranormal Almanac. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you guys want to hear in the upcoming episodes. Email me, paranormalalmanac@gmail.com. Oh, Boba Roy Calce, on the snap. Oh, Boba